Important details that you should know um, to prepare for a home care survey, whether it's unannounced or announced. Okay. And let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. I thought this was really, really interesting because I was helping one of my mentees upload her RSA application this evening. And in doing so, I was showing her how to navigate through um, the Maryland Department of Health, Office of Healthcare Quality um, site. And of course, the policies and procedures or regulations, excuse me, are on the state's website, right? If you're in the state of Maryland, they're called COMAR regulations. And even if you're not in the state of Maryland, I want to show you some details that you should pay attention to if you want to prepare for an announced or unannounced survey. Because a lot of people ask me what that looks like, how to prepare for an announced or unannounced survey. And we actually have a survey readiness checklist that you can grab. It's like 99 cents, and I'll actually go through how to get ready for a announced survey and a unannounced survey. But first, I want to just show you what it says here as I share my screen. So if you're on Facebook or YouTube, you're seeing this. And let me just switch it over here if you are on TikTok. Okay. So here you see inspection by department. And some things, guys, is just in black and white. So I just want to read through this part and then I'll switch my screen. The department or its designee may conduct an unannounced or an announced, or unannounced licensure inspection or complaint investigation to ensure compliance with the requirement of this chapter. So let me, because I'm on TikTok, let me just switch it back. Okay. So first, let me reiterate. What we just read here is that the department or its designee, meaning another department, another it could be this is the Department of Office of Healthcare Quality. So this is the licensing department. Or they can designate someone to do an announced. An announced survey is when they tell you they are coming. An unannounced survey is when you do not know they're coming and they just show up. So they're going to do, and they will do a survey for these two main reasons, and they posted it right there. It's a licensure inspection, number one, or a complaint investigation. If you're following, put that in the comments. These are the two main reasons. And even if you are not in the state of Maryland, I want you to know these are the two main reasons in general that they are going to do an announced or unannounced survey. If you're following, write that in the comments. It's either because they're doing a general compliance check, aka licensure inspection, is to investigate a complaint. Are you following me? Are you following me? Okay. No, it doesn't take years to get approved for Medicaid. You might be talking about MCOs. Okay. Tonight, I'm trying to share with you, give you a better understanding of the um the licensure survey process. Okay. Okay. So you got it. There are two main reasons. There are two main reasons they're going to come out. Okay. Announced, unannounced. Because they're doing a licensure inspection or they're investigating a complaint. Okay. What now here is what the state says you have to do in the event of an announced or unannounced survey. Number one, you should be open for inspection. So if your business hours, and this is why I tell people, stop putting that you're open on a Saturday on your home care application, because it says it right here. The agency shall be open for inspection by the department during all hours identified on the agency's application, notated as routine business hours. Can I show you guys that again? You see this? You see this? When you put, you trying to be so, I'm gonna be open on Saturdays. Once you put that on your license, look at that. During all hours identified in the agency's application as routine business hours, they are going to hold you accountable to that, what you put on your application. So don't you know, you can be open on a Saturday, meaning taking calls from prospective clients, but don't you dare put that on your application. Don't you dare put that on your application. What does the office have to do with you applying when in your state you can have a home office? Okay. All right. All right. So they can come do an announced or unannounced survey on the days that you said you are open. Yep. If you're anybody that's in my home care Kickstarter program knows we ain't putting all them hours. We putting actually we put half days on some days if we can. It's only a certain states, like say for example, a New Jersey is going to require that you put an 8-hour day. Unless that application says you have to put like an 8-hour schedule, nope. Now, you what you said your consultant said, um, I'm not here to go against anybody's consultant. I'm not here to go against anybody's coach. I'm not here um to remove what you think is professional and what I'm telling you is operational. you don't have to put those hours on your application unless it says we require an 8-hour schedule, an 8-hour workday. Don't do it, because you guys just read that, right? Didn't I just change? Didn't I just show you where it says during all hours identified on the agency's application? You saw that, right? You saw that. You saw what I put. Okay. Now, again, even though I'm showing you Maryland, this is the case for most states, right? We've gone through survey processes for most states, okay? For most states. And so I'm telling you, I'm giving you sound advice. Remember, this industry is very tight-lipped. People are going to be like, you can do that. They're going to be just like this. Sure, go ahead and do that. They're not going to tell you that it's okay for you to put short hours, because the moment that you put that on your application, you're locked in. You're locked in. Okay. Okay. So remember, they can do an announced inspection where they tell you they coming, or unannounced where they just show up. Now, if they show up, they're going to look at your application and say, oh, she said she's open as early as 7:30 a.m. I've seen it on somebody's application before. They're open at 7:30 to 7:30 A to 7:30 P. They can show up that early. And best believe you got some people that will come that early. Okay. So, number 2, your office hours on your application do matter. If you're taking notes, say, Sean, I'm taking notes. If you put that okay, great question. What about if you put 24 hours? Anything on your application is deemed as your agency's routine business hours. You don't have to put, here's the difference. This is what people are doing these days, right? If you see open 24 hours, that's usually on people's Google business page. We're not putting that on our application. I think the disconnect is that you want to be open 24 hours a day, right? Basically saying, I can accept a client calls, new intake, right? 24 hours a day, right? But separate like you being able to take new calls, do admissions 24 hours a day with your business hours. On your application, it's supposed to be your business hours. And if you're following me, put business hours, because I'm dropping some major nuggets here, and I'm really explaining things, but I'm not seeing my hearts on TikTok, and I don't even know what's going on over here. So I already heard on YouTube you were told different by your consultant. If you were told different on TikTok, let me know. Okay. All right. Next. Now, if you go back, I actually did a video. I did a training on getting prepared for an unannounced survey. And I told you some of these things in the survey, in that training, based upon my surveys, right? Whether it was from my home care agency or from other people that we helped agency. But I wanted you guys to see this in black and white. Okay. Wanted you to see this in black and white. Okay. So once they get inside, right, you are required to give them access. You see this says access to agency sites where services are offered. Do you guys know what that means? Do you know what that means? If you know what that means, access to agent, that means, and I can tell you, I had that happen to me, they can go to your client's home. What? Yes, they can. They can go to your client's home. Let me show you where we had that highlighted. See that? The agency shall be open for inspection. So we already said during the hours, and during those hours, that's on your application. So if you dare to put that 24 hours, you have to give them, access to the agency and sites where services are offered. You got to give them. That's why, friends, you have to have a physical location. This industry, people will say, Sean, can I use a virtual office? Sean, can I use a virtual office? No, you can't use a virtual office because you are required to give them access to the agency where essentially your files are, your client files, your personnel files are, even your timesheets, right? Now people can be walking around with a company laptop and they have like some client files, but essentially the department is saying this is where everything should be. Yes, it is possible to change it. Okay. So it says you have to make your office available for inspection during other than routine business hours. Okay, so here's how that happened. Okay, so they're gonna go by your business hours. All right, this is what this means. Make its offices available for inspection during other than its business hours. Okay, so when they first show up, they're going to go by your business hours. So let's say, for example, your business hours are from 8 to 4. They're in there. They get in there at 2 o'clock. They're still working. You can't kick them out, right? They're still working. You can't kick them out. Once they're in there, you can't kick them out. I came during your business hours, but now you have to make your office available to me while I'm here during other than the routine business hours. So if you guys are supposed to close at 4, okay, well, I'm still going through this file and I got questions. So everybody else can leave, but guess who has to stay? The administrator. The administrator has to stay. Everybody else can leave. The administrator has to stay. And this is why the In some states, they call it the agency manager. In most states, they call it the administrator, has to stay. The administrator, even if he or she is not the owner, is the key contact person for your home care agency, not the office manager. Um, in some cases, the RN supervisor or the director of nursing may need to be there, but essentially, the agency manager needs to be there. Okay, that's who has to continue to assist the department. Okay, so they're explaining what this means. Okay, assist the department in gaining access to sites where services are provided for the purpose of conducting inspections. Okay, so let me show you this part. Okay, all right. What does this mean? Assist the department in gaining um, access to sites where services are provided for the purposes of conducting inspection. That means that, and remember, I have experienced this. That you have to, if they want to go if they're looking at a client chart and they're like, you know what, I want to go see this client, you, aka the administrator, have to call the client and assist them with getting access to that client's home so they can come do an assessment. You, the agency administrator. If I live in New York, but my business is in Connecticut, can I use a home office? Is the home office in Connecticut? Do you need an RN to be able to apply for a non-skilled home care agency license? What state? You guys are getting off topic. I'm trying to really stay on the survey because I know you guys are not prepared. Okay, you're not prepared, and surveys, um, as it was mentioned, happen initially, right? And then surveys can happen unannounced. Typically, we see surveys for existing agencies start around March, April, May, all the way into June. How do you know this, Sean? Because this is when they start reviewing existing providers. It's just a trend. Okay. All right. So they're going to you're going to have to help them ensure that the agency is in compliance with the regulations, and help the department investigate and resolve any complaints filed against them. If you have a complaint filed against you, you know how every state has like a 1-800 number or Osmond that the client can call. That triggers you to get an unannounced survey faster than anything. That will trigger you to get an unannounced survey faster than anything. Now, let me go through what they're going to inspect. Okay. The licensee shall maintain records and reports to support compliance with the regulations. All records and reports shall be open to the department. Records are your personnel records, and reports could be your running reports for eligibility, making sure someone was eligible, your EVV reports, your time cards, your payroll reports. They can check those. right? Maintenance. It says that the agency shall maintain files on site for current clients. You're supposed to maintain your files on site. So we're talking about um, uh, your on site charts, your current clients, clients that have been discharged within the last 12 months. Everything needs to be on site. So why are they saying on site? So let's say, for example, you have, you have a software, or you have files that's archived somewhere, and like maybe they're in a separate holding file or archive somewhere. You have to maintain current clients and clients at least that have been discharged in the past 12 months. Current staff and staff that has been discharged in the last year, and any of your quality assurance activities. Okay, so a lot of surveys or inspections have to do with your quality assurance activities. What would be a quality assurance activity, Sean? Incident reports. That's just the first thing I'm gonna, that comes to mind. Things like incident reports. Are you guys following me? Are you guys following me? So far, from what I said, excuse me, I want somebody to share one thing that they did not know from what we've shared so far. One thing that they did not know. And if you don't, remember, I'm telling you guys for a reason. You think they're not going to be doing more surveys or inspections while they are, talking about Medicaid cuts. They have multiple ways to try to get money from us. And this is why when I did the live with Carl Pierre, we talked about how if your agency doesn't have good operations, you could be making money, but you need to be able to keep your money. And the best way to keep your money is to have smooth operations, good systems, and make sure that you're always in compliance. Okay. All right. Here's something I think is funny. If they deem that there is a record that they want to review and it's off-site, it's stored off-site, it has to be available for inspection within 24 hours. They're giving you 24 hours to get it to them. The agency shall make available upon request client representative, potential clients, and or federal or state local regulatory or law enforcement agencies any statements of deficiencies, reports, and plans of correction. So they want you to show any previous surveys that you may have had within that period of time. Then this last section is called notice of violators. If a complaint, investigation, or survey inspection identifies a regulatory violation, you violated one of the regulations in your license, they're going to give you a notice. They're going to cite the violation. They're going to require that you submit a plan of correction within 10 calendar days of receipt of the violation, and or deficiency. If you do not correct it within that time period, you could receive sanctions, um, or suspension, revoke, any of those other things. I'm seeing it's 5 days after. Okay, that's about it. Okay, so now let's get to Q&A. I already showed you I was reading from the actual inspection by the department. So it laid it out. Okay, so now I saw some people mention a couple of states. What state are you in? What state are you in? No problem. Came on later. Okay. What state are you in? What state are you in? Getting yourself ready for a unannounced survey is um, something you should be prepared for. Um, you should have some kind of uh, preparation. I'm going to put this back. Um, Annually, some some states do. I mean, sorry. Like my company, we do a um annual review of your policies. This this is where you make sure that you are in compliance. There have not been any changes in the regulations, and then to make sure that you're actually following everything within your home care operational systems. Nevada, South Carolina, best way to get clients in Indiana is to market. Miami. Oh, oh, that was you. Do you need an RN to be able to apply for a non-skilled home health? In Florida, yes. Okay, so in the let me pull up some of the stuff we go over in the checklist. So I came up with this checklist. If you are a home care agency, you want to check and make sure you have everything together for a initial survey or unannounced survey. Let me let me pull up some of the things. Okay. This is called a pre-licensure survey checklist, but it also includes some things for just routine surveys. Okay. Um, Sorry, I had to pull it up. Okay. All right. Okay, here is a good one that um I'm gonna there are 7 sections, right? So section 6 is talking about your record keeping, right? Since we just talked about record keeping. Um uh you have to verify your personnel record retention process. Personnel record retention process. Each state has a how long you're supposed to hold on to client records and how long you're supposed to hold on to personnel records. And we just mentioned for one that even though they're saying they want current clients and clients that were recently discharged within a 12-month period on site within the 12 months or that within that current year on site, that is not telling you how long you have to hold on to client files from older clients. That's just saying we want these on site, but for the most part, you have to hold on to client charts for 7 years. For 7 years, most of you are holding on to client files for, and you have to look it up for your state. Uh, some say 5 years. A lot of them say 7 years. Yes, in Virginia, you need an RN for non-skilled. Okay. Okay. So another thing is asking you to identify and address in your survey readiness checklist is um where are your incident reports? Who has an incident reporting log or system? So if you have a good software, maybe it's on your software, or are you even tracking how many incidents that happen um, uh, a month, a quarter, within a year? You made a log. Okay, cool. You made a log. All right. Is your log monthly? Is your log, are you reviewing it quarterly? Because based upon what we just read, they will request access to your incident log. And do your incident logs have the incident report attached to it? Yes, no, maybe so. What are you doing with your log? Okay. Hello.
Greetings and thank you for sharing all this knowledge. How are you?
Mhm.
Yeah, I just came across this slide. So I've got a friend. She has a home health agency, like no home health, home care, like home care business. And so one of the greatest problems that she has been facing is how to get clients to fill this form with. So it could be probably marketing issues or maybe some strategies that probably she's not using, that she can be able to get clients for the home. So yeah, that's a question that I wanted to ask to know if there are some strategy on how to best market home care.
She has a home, or she's doing home care?
A home care, like it's a home care.
Because you keep saying she has a home and how to keep people into the home.
Yes, yes.
So she has a home, or she's doing home care?
She has a home that she has gotten the license from the state, and you know.
Having a home is not home care, just so you know.
Okay.
Having a home is not home care.
Okay.
Okay. Home care is when you go to other people's homes.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're asking for your friend.
Yes.
Okay. All right. All right. Thank you for your question. I'll address it. Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. So I really didn't want to go over marketing, but in general, I always tell you guys, if before you get started, you should already have a marketing plan. You should have done some kind of market research for your business to know who your referral sources are, who your target audience are, and then from there you should be aligning that with how you are growing your business. So, being that she has a home, um, uh, I would really like to know. I would really like to know a little bit more about her. Um, what kind of customers she was thinking of getting to put into her home. So I can't really I don't want to give just generic answers, but essentially she needs to identify who makes referrals to people to do an assisted living, because it kind of sounds like it's an assisted living. Okay. So that's what she needs to do. April, what types of things are considered incidences? Okay. An incident, on a not one example of an incident on the non-skilled side could be a fall, right? Client falls, you have to document that was that fall so severe that they needed to go to the ER, get x-rays. Did it cause bruising? What was the cause of the fall? How did your staff intervene? Was there an assessment by your RN or by a healthcare professional after the fall, and follow up? So that's one example on the non-skilled side. On the skilled side, an incident can be that you can have an incident report based upon a medication that was given and it was the wrong dose, right? It was supposed to be uh, uh, 0.05 mLs and 5 mLs was given. So you are to do a incident report on a medication error and also explain how it happened and any adverse responses to that. That is a part of your quality assurance. That's a part of your quality assurance, and you should really have a good understanding of that, whether you are skilled or unskilled, because just about every state wants you to address quality assurance. So hopefully I answered your question. Okay, so in general, we were talking tonight about um, how to prepare your agency for a announced or unannounced survey. So for the rest of our time, I want to know if you guys have any questions about that. Do you have any questions about that? And earlier today, I was on um, sharing things about the um, home care, um, what's for client intake, client assessments, and so I have a video we did earlier. But today, excuse me, this evening, because I was just helping someone submit their application. I wanted to discuss with you what things you need to be prepared for if you're having your initial survey or if you get a random survey that is announced or unannounced. And we even shared when I did the live with Carl Pierre that you can even have a survey or an inspection from the state that where we call it a desk audit. So that would fall underneath announced survey too, because they can essentially they say, hey, we want to see documents from these clients and send it to us by this date. And this is the time frame we want to see it in and submit it by Friday. Healthcare queen. You're not really giving me most a lot of information, healthcare queen. Okay, I'm gonna read what you said and tell me if you guys can figure out what she means. I was told the initial inspection would could be 60 to 90 days. Initial inspection for what state? For what license? I, I was also told I had 15 minutes to arrive. I have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea what you're talking about. And I'm not sure because you you have home health queen, or excuse me, healthcare queen. Apologies. Uh, is Are you the healthcare queen because this is something you do? Because you're saying I was told. Who told you that? Who told you that? Does that make any sense to you guys, or am I the only one that's lost? I don't when you guys say, "Oh, someone told me this, someone told me that," my consultant, I am not able to interpret things that other people tell you. I'm literally just showing you what's in black and white. That's why I showed you if you're on TikTok. That's why I showed you on Facebook. I showed you on YouTube what they're saying. And I know most of you were blown away by the main revelation that the hours that you put on your application, the state is going to hold you to that. If anything, many of you should be making changes because of that one statement. They're going to be holding you to that. Okay. Anybody else have any questions on surveys, initial surveys, unannounced surveys, what they're looking for. Anybody else have any questions before we end? I'm willing to open up to have you come up if you rather talk versus um, type your answer. And you can get that survey, what you call it, that survey checklist. So you can really be prepared for an initial survey or an unannounced survey. You can get that. I put that in the link in the video. Okay. All right. Well, if you guys didn't have any questions, then I guess I'll just get off. All right. Have a good night.